All in favor? All opposed? No abstentions? We are in executive at 5:32.
atmosphere is hot, but I'm getting through up. Synapse work for the rest of us. Remembering this is with robot literature. Yeah, it's definitely that was the or the phone pairs like that.
Can I get a motion to return to reconvene the public portion of the meeting of the Franklin Township Board of Education at 6:01? Can I get Jeff, can I get a second? Sylvia on the second, all in favor? Aye, all opposed? Any abstentions? No presentations today. God bless August. Board action, we'll cut this up into two. Can we do these all together? Yep. We can do all those together. We are approving prior minutes. We are approving a board member resignation. All in favor? Oh, I got to get a motion for that. Colin on the one, Sylvia on the two. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Page 3, the star of the show. Chief School Administrator Report, Mrs.
Thank you.
Aquino.
Thank you. Thank you. Our extended school year program has come to a close, which was held at North, and we'd like to extend our Heartfelt thanks to North Hunterdon High School for their willingness, openness, and kindness in hosting us. And actually, Mr. Abramowitz, Mrs. Lamont, and myself actually went over there today, and they were so gracious. It's not even funny. The summer has flown by as we've gotten ready for another wonderful school year. The construction continues to move along, and our parking lot is looking wonderful. Also, just a reminder to all of our parents that a new traffic pattern will be in place when we open, but if it slips your mind, have no fear. We will have plenty of volunteers on site to help with direction, and maybe even some of our own board members.
We'll absolutely be there.
Uh-huh.
I'll speak for everyone. No one would miss that.
Of course not.
I will wear a vest, but
Oh, they all have to wear a vest.
Costume.
Oh,
They don't make
Oh.
it an extra large.
okay.
Heads up.
Every one of our positions are now filled and our team is complete and ready for a fantastic year. Our administrative team will welcome new teachers on Tuesday, September 1st, with all staff joining for 3 days of sessions and room preparation from September 2nd through the 4th. And I just want to say how incredibly fortunate I am to work alongside such dedicated administrative team, as well as our 12-month employees. This summer, they've poured their time, energy, and heart into planning a smooth, joyful, and exciting school year for our students, staff, and families, and their commitment is truly something special. That's all I have. Thank you.
I'll echo that too. I've been in through the school a bunch of the construction and everything, and you guys are doing a lot with a little. There's not a lot of people, but you guys are constantly working. Moving on. Thank you. Moving on. Item 9. School Business Administrator Report. Mr. McGarry.
So summer construction is moving along. As you can see outside, the parking lot is pretty substantially complete. There's still some things they need to do, and we had a construction meeting the other day where we ran through creating the punch list for whatever minor things still need to be addressed, but overall that is looking great and mostly ready for the start of school. For the interior work that's being done, those classrooms are moving along. Right now they're working on, they just finished tiling the bathrooms and putting up the drywall and should be painting, putting in flooring soon. There are 2 kindergarten classrooms where we ran into complications related to a load-bearing wall that needs to be reinforced. And so right now we are trying to get that handled as soon as possible, but it is looking most likely that those 2 kindergarten classrooms are not going to be ready for the start of school. But right now we're doing everything we can to make sure that they're ready as soon as possible. That's it for me.
And on the president's report, it's been construction, very quiet summer, not to report. The letters for the kindergarten have went out. Those who are being affected by it are aware of it, and the administration's handling it the best they can. And I'm sure we'll have updates as things get completed. That's all I got on the president's report. Public comment. All comments should be directed to the board president. The board will not respond to complaints from and to school personnel unless the chain of command has been followed without satisfaction. Furthermore, the board cannot respond to any complaints from the public directed at any district employee or student, as the board must protect each employee and each student's right to privacy. Those wishing to share comments during this portion of the meeting are asked to sign the register at the podium, state their name, place of residence, and group affiliation if applicable. Public comment shall be concise and to the point and shall not contain abusive, defamatory, or obscene language. Each speaker will be given up to 3 minutes. No Elizabeth, but any takers. All right, I'm gonna be at dinner in no time. Moving right along. Fine. I'll say we opened and closed it at 6:06. Finance and facilities. That is me. Pretty standard fare. Approval of the bill list, the budget transfers, joint transportation agreement, approval of payment applications, approval of amended vendor contracts, and approval of professional service contracts. Pretty standard fare. The one thing that I just wanted to point everyone's attention to before we get into the conversations about the LRP and the long-range facility plan, we are approving the use of 5 different school locations in order to make them dual-use purposes. It's just something worth pointing out about the amount of space that the school doesn't have. I know there's been a lot of conversations in the past that the school was designed for 400 students, but that may have been 25 years ago. And when we talk about modern education and the things that the state requires us to do, these rooms are now going to be dual used for reading intervention. ML is multi-language. I'm learning like everyone else. The library and the STEAM programs, speech programs, intervention, and non-instructional and storage space is being changed to instructional and
OTPT,
what's OT? OT and PT.
occupational therapy.
Occupation therapy and physical therapy. The thing that I'm just going to try pointing out to the board as we start talking about the facilities is those are happening in places that are not like behind everyone. Those are what we're calling classrooms now. So there has to be a longer term plan in order to assure that there are rooms where kids can have privacy, because some of the stuff that they're dealing with are personal. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Confidential.
Confidential. You get what I'm saying. They should have more sensitive. Sensitive is a better word. Thank you. English teacher. Approve salaries of federal grants, approve use to facilities, and approval of change order. The one change order that I wanted to point everyone's attention to is on a piece of paper here, and I definitely wrote it down. Top Line Construction Corporation. We are in what we'll be deciding on for this overage, let's just say, is the retaining wall construction outside of the kindergarten classroom. So where everyone's used to dropping their kids off at school, there's a retaining wall there that is also a ramp as an emergency exit for the kindergarten class. This wasn't prior on the LRP. The administration prior had agreements if someone was going to donate and fix those for us. But now that you see the number of what it really costs to fix, it makes sense that that's no longer going to be a donation item. And we are attacking that with available funds that we currently have. There were 3 options presenting us: a Band-Aid, a bigger Band-Aid, or a complete tear down and rebuild it in concrete to ensure that it doesn't fall apart, at least as long as our kids are in school. Let's call it a 20-year plan when it comes to that. Also handrails. This does not address the front entrance or the crumbling stairwell out front of the school or the front doors that don't open. But I want everyone to get the impression of what we're attempting to do here. If we're handling the outside in the parking lot, we are taking big swings at fixing everything that we possibly can with those funds, and while we have the team here.
Can we go just a little bit deeper into the Band-Aid option, just so the people
Absolutely.
understand?
So the one was to, you got to forgive me, I don't have it.
Well, do you want me to cover it?
Please do.
So the ramp at the moment and the retaining wall is a series of blocks. And during the winter, when there is salt and water, that was getting inside the blocks and causing them to crack. The minimalistic Band-Aid is simply to replace the broken blocks, and guess what? It's going to break. There's going to be more of them will go very soon.
And only some of them, I would add, because they wouldn't be able to take
Yeah,
all of
load
them
bearing
since they're
ones.
structural.
The next option is a large fix, but it would be again with blocks with the same issue. So yes, it'd be good for today, but this is not a long-term fix. You're going to have to come back and do it again. For an incremental price over the top of that of about another 10%, you put a concrete ramp in and it's fixed for the long term. So you're not reintroducing a poor construction material into the process. So yes, it's the most expensive, but it's really the one that is most cost effective, because you're going to not be fixing it again either in 1 year or in 7 years.
That's a good point. And when it came to the middle option, it had more to do with encasing what was already there. And they warned us that if we encase it, the thing that it's encasing will continue to fall apart. And it did not address the actual ramps that lead up to the doors. So also too, we built this beautiful parking lot and you're driving around and dropping your kids off at one of the most crumbling parts of the school. So infrastructure wise, Sylvia.
Can you just remind me, the sidewalk in that area, was that all redone too?
Yes.
So it'd be the new, whatever, this retaining wall plus the new sidewalk. So that whole area is just to be brand new.
The best way of saying it is the east side of the school would be, anything on the east side of the school would be exteriors is all brand new concrete, new sidewalks, new everything. Which is
Nice.
pretty awesome. It's pretty nice. And if you guys get a chance before it gets too dark, drive around the parking lot, because I would have lost money of how well that project was going and nothing could possibly go wrong. Those are it. Any other questions on those items? We're crushing it today. Can I get a motion to approve action item 12, alpha through nano?
So moved.
Sylvia, can I get a second?
Second.
And because this has to do with money, roll call.
Yep. That's,
Oh, you made it just in time to vote on
You have
the
to
money
vote for
end.
something.
Good for you.
She doesn't even know what she's voting for, just vote.
Yeah, just do it.
and she's first too.
Yeah, you're first.
Quick,
No-
yes or no?
Mrs.
No
Bankin.
follow-up, no questions. Yes. We just did finance. Would you like to abstain on this one?
I just don't know.
We're doing finance and facilities.
We just finished finance and facility.
Okay. I'll just abstain. You could
Give her abstain on that one.
Mr. Kastner,
Yes.
Mr. Cecil,
Yes.
Mrs. Cummins,
Yes.
Mrs. Naughton,
Yes.
Mr. Naughton.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving right along. 6, 7. Curriculum and education, Mrs. Naughton.
That's me. All right. So we have the approval of the 26-27 emergency virtual and remote plan. That's just a proactive plan to keep the kids learning if there's a state of emergency or the kids cannot attend school for any reason. That's why we give out the laptops for those. So that's a proactive plan. B, approval of the field trips for the 26-27 school year. The children are going to BizTown and Finance Park. And if you don't know what that is, the kids have to step into adult shoes for a day and they have to do real life household budgeting. It's very cute. I'm so excited about it. I wish I could go. C is the approval of the 26-27 assessment notification. That's just our NJSLA tests, the Linkit tests and the IXL. If you go online, you can see with the testing dates. That's all that is. The D, the approval of the professional day requests. I want to stop here for a second. I want to make sure the board takes a look at that. And also you guys out there and anybody who's listening at home, this is really important because the policy books that we just approved or we are going to approve today really shows what is mandatory for professional development. So I would like to, give you applaud for taking advantage and just going ahead and being proactive about getting those training done ASAP. So just again, for the board members, there is going to be a lot of training that needs to happen. That is a requirement for the policy books. Action E, the approval of updated student code of conduct. It's been updated this year, which is fantastic. So it's a very clear indicator of what's expected of the children, of the rules, and what happens to if there's a refractor for everybody. So it's right there, plain as day. Everybody gets the same discipline if needed. And F, we have the approval of updated curriculum, which is also wonderful. And Ms. Aquino said it at the last meeting. Our math has been improved. Like there's, I think it was like 6th grade through 8th grade was approved. Oh, 4 or 5, I'm sorry. Was it 6th through 8th grade? Math.
Yeah, we had 5th grade too.
Oh, here it is. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade algebra was updated for the math. The teachers came in during the summertime and updated the curriculum for that. So, and that's all. That's all we got.
Any conversation, questions? One-line jokes. Nothing?
I got something. Handle with Care. Is that brand new?
No.
Or is that's?
No, we
we've always
use
used
that, and we have 2 people that are trained in our district. They have to go out to be re-certified, and they can come back and they can train us. So this is when we do, what do we call that?
The hold.
Holds.
Yeah.
When we do
Oh,
holds.
got it. Okay. One comment, I hope everyone takes advantage of looking at the new code of conduct. You guys put a lot of thought and effort into it. It's very clear, and I think it's very, very well
Thank you.
done. So,
Mrs. Lamont spent a lot of time on that, yes.
Oh, sorry, we're in fantasy football together.
Great.
The one thing that I wanted to point out, I just wanted to cite about the Strauss-Esme HIB training program,
Yes.
that the entire upper brass of the school is taking. That is not a required thing. They are, right? That's a volunteer thing in order for folks to get professional development and learn, right?
Yeah, we're volunteering to go, but we should have that.
For sure, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
it's not a they're going a little further in order to get that type of training, which is notable. And to echo what Sylvie was saying, a lot of conversations people were having over the past 2 or 3 years honed in on the curriculum of the math and and science, and seeing those changes is really good. I also enjoy the code of conduct and progressive discipline framework. And if anyone has the opportunity to read it in the crowd, I'm sorry, my mic's not on, is it? If anyone has the opportunity to read that, it's color coded and pretty down,
Mhm.
pretty specific to everything. Any other comments or discussions on that? Since it doesn't involve personnel or money, we can do a voice vote. All
Just need a
in.
motion.
Oh, can I get a motion to approve? Where are we? Action item 13, Alpha through Foxtrot. Colleen,
Second.
on the ones, Allison on the twos. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Moving right along.
They want to drive the parking lot while it's still light, so.
Does everyone else have dinner reservations like me? Okay. Discussion.
Policy and
your
personnel.
policy personnel.
Oh, I have 2 different 9s. I see what happened there. Okay. Policy and personnel, Mrs. Cummins.
All right, so we have approval of a staff appointment. I would just like to applaud Mrs. Aquino for filling our library media aide position so quickly. We are looking forward to having this person come in once a week, as we have been doing this past year. Meeting with each of the classes, providing some, reading to the younger kids, check out of books, and regular library education to some of the older kids. We have an approval of home instructors. And finally, the teacher mentoring plan. It's a fairly light agenda for this piece.
If I can just say something though, before the board votes on that. We do have a library media aide, which I'm very excited for, and she's really terrific. However, our kindergarten classes will be held in the library until their classrooms are ready. So there will not be library class for probably the first month. So as happy as we are that Carrie is coming to us, there won't be library for the first month or so until our kindergarten can move back into their classroom. With that being said.
It is what it is, right?
Yep.
Adapt and survive. Ms. Munn.
But she's still going to be working at the school?
Yes.
Can we do library on a cart?
Oh, that's a good idea.
She goes to classrooms with a whole bunch
she
of
can do
books?
that.
Saw it. I just saw it.
You're all aware of your propensity and love of the library.
I love of everything in the cart. I'm like, just put it in the cart.
Any other comments, thoughts, questions, concerns? This is as personnel, so we need to do a roll call vote. Mr. McGarry, did I do the motions
Motion.
already? Man, I'm really getting ahead of my horse here. Can I get a motion to
Motion.
approve? Item 14, Alpha through Charlie.
Moved.
Colin, can I get a second?
Second.
Jeff, roll call, Mr. McGarry. Mr. McGarry.
Gary.
Good save.
Sorry.
Mrs. Bankin,
Yes.
Mr. Kastner,
Yes.
Mr. Cecil,
Yes.
Mrs. Cummins,
Yes.
Mrs. Naughton,
Yes.
Mr. Naughton.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving right along, communications, Mr. Cecil.
So we had a last minute conflict in terms of the availability of people, so we did not meet in person. We had circulated via email. Nothing major to report on the communication front at this point. We're continuing to look at the website. We have started issuing the board meeting agenda is now being sent out to the community. So in advance through the email blast for that, and we will continue to communicate out the chief school officer's minutes each month, as well as the summary of the meeting.
And I got two emails of people thanking us. You sent it through the township clerk blast, and
Yes.
that was recognized and appreciated by two people who are on that. And fantastic. Any other questions on communications? All right, look at us. Township committee liaison. Oh, that's me. Last meeting was somewhat eventful. They put out nothing specifically concerning the school. They put out a statement about the CFO being indicted on or being invested. Whatever's going on with the CFO, they put a statement out on that, and they also discussed how they are doing. They are looking into their policies and protocols of the townships and some of their own interior rules, similar to what we just did. And it's worth noting, but other than that, nothing really concerning the school. So let's move on. Hunterdon County Educational Services.
Got nothing.
Yeah, they didn't meet yet, right?
Mm-mm.
Sorry, I'm playing Boom Beach. New board matters and new business. The only thing that I have on the docket is, and it was in the committee notes, we're considering offering Jeff the third seat in the Finance and Facility Committee, unless anyone else wants it. And Jeff, just a heads up, me and Colin refer to that as the ejection seat. 3 in a row. Every time someone takes that spot, they're gone.
I think
way
it-
out.
Yeah.
You want in? You want in? You want to join the party?
The Defense Against the Darts Arts teacher again.
And the only reason that we're, that was a Harry Potter reference. I got that. The only reason that we're asking Jeff specifically is because he's guaranteed for he's running unopposed and he will be here for an additional 3 years. So we're trying to pull in the people, and me and Colin are retiring or being indicted within the next couple months. So either way, we wanted to make sure we had a backup. And that's it. Any other board matters or new business that anyone would like to bring up? Look at us. Public comment. Public comment. Was anyone interested in doing public comment before I read all of this? We can just pretend like I did. No? Fantastic. Let's say public comment section opened and closed at 6:26. Moving on to other business. The biggest one. Let's start with the biggest one. I have to switch pages, right? Because that was changes were made to.
First motion's there, though.
Page 9 has the first one.
Gotcha. Okay, so for the first motion, let me explain them and then I'll get the let me get a motion to approve action item 20, Alpha through Charlie. Colleen, can I get a second?
Second.
Allison. All right, so first up on the docket, we are going to approve a second and final reading of the policy and regulations overhaul. For those who haven't been, this has been almost a year plus project. We have restructured and redesigned and rethought out the entire policy book with the help of Strauss Esme. That went through our first reading and first vote. And now we're here to have our second reading and vote. Any comments, concerns, thoughts on that?
I think it's been again, many thanks to the administration and the policy committee who have done a heavy lift on this. For my part, I'm glad we've reached the end. It's been a lot of reading, but thank you to you guys.
Yeah, this has been years in the making, a lot of conversation from all start. And this vote tonight is going to feel really, really good for those of us that have been working with this on and off for like 2-3 years. Myself being very excited about this.
Anyone else? I'll echo that as well. It's not just the administration. Mark formally, our vice president, there's business administrator, vice principal, or business administrator, our superintendent. And there were a lot of people involved. Colleen led the way, and I really appreciate it. I think we addressed a lot of the things that people asked for, and it's a brand new book. The school should have a different, I think it'll give the school an entirely different vibe. And the greatest benefit is our ability to reference the digital advantage. So not only has the work been done where we made full improvements of things, we also, this service digitizes everything and makes it accessible online, not just to the administration, to the community, but parents and us as well. Because when we have some of these meetings, we have to make decisions. It's like opening the Bible to try figuring out specifically what chapter and verse we should be referring to. So without any other conversation on that, we'll move on to the next one, and that is, and these next two take some explanation. So we are now accepting the item A has us accepting. You're going to have to walk with me on
All right,
this,
I'm walking.
Let me know. Item A has us accepting the new policy book
Correct.
fully. Item B has us abolishing
The previous
the
book,
previous book.
the school board's book that we had here.
And then also we are,
You want me to take this one?
please,
Okay, so the board, our board bylaws and policy 0131 specifically, or bylaw 0131, specifically call for anytime that we abolish a policy or a set of policies that we do 2 readings of those policies at 2 separate meetings. If we were to do that, then what we would end up creating is a period of time between now and September's meeting where all of our new policies are able to be enforced and all of our old policies are still sitting as active policies. There are conflicts between the new book and the older policy manual. This is the board agreeing that we will, under our privilege of emergency circumstances, per policy 0131, waive that bylaw for this vote and agree that we are going to just abolish all of our former policies in a single reading at this meeting, so that when we leave here tonight, those policies are gone, they are officially abolished, and all of our new policies are officially active.
Well
easy for you to say. And when we move into the second one, we will be approving the first and final reading of a new bylaw, where one will be waiving the policy that makes us have to do 2 readings. We'll be doing 1 reading and approval for P5516, student use of internet-enabled devices, and then there's a second one referencing that. The reason for that is there was a law that was passed called Bell to Bell, and we need to have that rule in our policy book by the start of school. So we're doing 1 reading on it, and essentially there is no changes to the policies that we currently do now.
No.
Keep your cell phones in your bags and don't make trouble with them, and
Correct.
that's the policy.
Keep them off.
And that keeps us legal with the state changes that we're required to have.
Yes.
But since we're shaking out the sheets and doing all of this, we're trying to get it all done in 1 push. Any questions on item 20, action item Alpha through Charlie? Crushing it. Let's go to a roll call vote. Well, hold on. Any other comments? Any other discussion? Good. Let's go for a roll call. Mr. McGarry.
Mrs. Bankin,
Yes.
Mr. Castor,
Yes.
Mr. Cecil,
Yes.
Mrs. Cummins.
Yes.
Mrs. Naughton,
Yes.
Mr. Naughton.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Look at us. bureaucratic animals. We just crushed it. We're going to move on. We are going to start the discussion, a review of our long-range facility plan. Just for those in the audience and the 2 or 3 online, we had a full-on facility assessment done by
Anthony Jean Picaro.
Anthony G, exactly what I was about to say. And that report came in. Based off of that report and the prior LRP, those were pressed together, and we are currently have we'll call it a first draft of the LRP. For the most of the time, this is done without the board and it's kind of reported. But since we're so serious about the improvements and the bonds that we're about to go through, I think we should discuss some of these items in open. And what I would ask the board to do and the administration to follow on the lead of is we focus on our needs and we remove the wants. Specifically, I would call them legacy ones that have been in the LRP for about 20 years that have never been moved on. There's a double-bladed sword to this too, because the size of our LRP dictates the amount of money we can have in our capital reserves. So we can't shrink it down entirely because it affects the way the mathematics happen on the operation budget then. So with that being said, there are a few things that I'm going to throw out there as recommendations to pull from. As you can see, there are some items that are on there that are currently being remedied. Our recommendation is to keep them on the LRP for this now until the projects are completely done, because that keeps the value high of the overall thing. But some of the things that I wanted to point out, and we're only doing this in order for everyone in the community to tell your friends, we're pulling out any once projects and we focusing entirely on needs. So with that being said, I would make the recommendation to remove the bleacher replacements. I would make the recommendation to remove the the flag light at $10,000. That's been a hot topic in the past. These are recommendations, not orders, guys. We're just talking amongst ourselves.
And that,
Yes, sir.
just to say, so the list of recommendations is not shared with the community yet. This is a draft, and that's highlighting a few things that are in the draft. The intention here is to be as transparent with the community as possible, to share the LRP, and then also to be sharing as much information about the background, videos, photographs, so the community can understand what is being driven here. So I understand you haven't seen it, you can't reference it. Matt's just picking out a few examples for today, but you will get all of this information.
I would remove again, we could have a conversation. I would remove the office improvements project. I would remove the new student lockers. I would recommend we remove the storage, backstage, and custodial area that everyone argued about. I would remove the renovation I'll give you this, guys, so you don't have, I'll just hand you the sheet. I would remove the renovation of the teacher's room, no offense. Maybe you repaint it and put in a new stove, but you hear what I'm saying. Those types of things can be addressed later, but when we're talking about a bigger plan, I don't think
Have you been in there though?
I have. It's very yellow. Is it yellow or orange?
No.
It's a very weird color. All right. Well,
All right.
yeah, you hear what I'm saying.
Except for debate.
Appreciate what I'm trying to do here, guys.
Okay.
How about I'll remove one air conditioning unit from the plan and we'll fix the teacher's room.
That's a no.
Okay. So you guys get it.
We need that.
We're shooting for the moon here. All right. How about keep the teacher's room? All right. I apologize. The kitchen serving line upgrade, I feel like that's been done. The multi-purpose room acoustics upgrade, the field house restroom, the new parking area for the athletic field, and the renovation of the original 1930s assembly and stage space. The reason I bring those items up is because there are so many more expensive and bigger things that we need to do here. The LRP has to be our plan. And not our wish list. So if we remove anything that's not a need, then no one can give us pushback saying that we're randomly picking stuff. And I know that's what we've been pinged before as a board when it came to the LRP. I'll open that end for removals. Your thoughts, the board's thoughts.
Sorry, just looking at this, what you had online, it just shows that there's a lot of stuff that looks like have been done already.
The ones that have been done, and you guys can see them, we currently have them in orange, according to my paperwork. The issue that those are remaining is to, one, submit this. Those projects aren't done, and keeping those in keeps the overall number that we need higher on the bottom item.
It's really because the first thing you said, though, primarily. Yeah, after talking with the architect, the recommendation we got was leave them on because they are still current projects.
They were, the
Not until
recommendations
they're
leave them on
officially
this.
done,
Yeah.
then you cross
Correct.
them off.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I understand.
But yeah, there's, I'd say about 6 of those that are on there. Just so the audience, because we're not handing these out to the audience, so everyone's aware of them. That's relocation of the playground for a new parking lot, the nurse's room renovations, toilet room installation in the pre-K room, refurbishing of an elevator, which we've been attempting to do for some time now. Installation of a generator, relocation of the parking and pickup lines. And another one was the walking track resurfacing. That was done with a grant or something a little bit ago, but that's also made out of wood. So it's mulch.
Mulch.
It's not rubberized mulch.
I was like,
it's
is it still
mulch.
there?
So we can pull it from there, but just, I don't know how you guys own all houses. You know how mulch works. It'll be gone.
Right.
And we're going to have to readdress it.
Mhm.
Jeff.
Is the flag currently unlit?
No, it currently has solar lights pointing
Okay.
up at it. But yes, I understand that.
As long as we're in line with
Scoutmaster
flag
and-
code, I don't want to.
Right,
And it's a new flag that was donated by the 8th grade graduating class.
that's correct.
And they do have solar lights on there. They were able to remedy that problem for about $75 rather than the $5,000 of the
Well, I was gonna
prior.
ask how much I-
Sounds very environmentally friendly too.
Yes.
Look
So
at us. Colin.
on the long range operating plan, again, this will be shared with the community, but what I liked about it on the read through is it's not just, these are the things that are broken today. It's actually looking forward to where do we need to be in 5-10 years time. So it talks about the renovations of classrooms that are 100 years old and other work that needs to be done so that when we talk with the community, we can be laying out a plan that isn't just, okay, we're going to tell you this, and then in 2-3 years' time, another board's going to come along and give you another set of information. This is going to be a plan that's going to be able to look forward and we can budget for and plan for, and then execute against to keep the school at a high level.
There are multiple small, and me and Colin discussed this a lot. We're on finance and facility together. There are some items that were discovered in the new LRP and the assessment that I wanted to point people's attention to when I talk about there needs to be some things done with it. Of course, everyone knows about the air handlers that are 50 plus, 60 plus years old. Some of them don't work.
All of them.
All of them don't work. But the thing that I cannot press enough is that they are both the air and heating elements for classrooms in the school. You understand what I'm saying by saying that those don't work. It's creating a large problem. That is the biggest, it's going to be the biggest price tag, and it's going to be the thing that we run head first at, that we're going to have to when it comes to the bond stuff. The other things people should be aware of, the assessment also revealed that there is a roof restoration project that needs to be done, and there are multiple places where it is leaking or going to be causing problems based on their review. There is a handicap lift that needs to be removed that's taking up space and where we could otherwise be using it. And then I'm going to hone in on the marker spaces renovations for the media center and the creation of spaces in the rear of the multi-purpose area. We're talking about those. And when we discussed earlier in the meeting about the amount of rooms that are getting dual usage, there has to be an investment in spaces. And I know there's a longer term conversation. We can't build out.
No.
We can't build up. We might have to start talking about this area and actually investing in rooms with, what are those things called?
Dividers?
No, doors. that actually have doors and chairs in them and desks and what are the other things that what do they have? They're called classrooms. Right now, I'm just giving the example of that room back there.
Oh, making
We're-
like a small group instruction class.
Making
Yes, that's what
classrooms,
we're trying-
creating, yeah.
That's what. we're-
But that looks like someone's preparing for a zombie apocalypse. What I'm talking about are classrooms
Correct.
with windows and doors and,
Sure.
so I'm just talking about when we talk about investments. The other thing, and Colin touched on this, is we need to come up with a plan to address the reconditioning of the finishing of the 1936 classrooms. Let's call it the second floor side of the whole wing of the building. Nothing has been done with those things
No.
since they've been installed. There are tripping hazards. There are holes in the ceiling. There is holes in the installation. Chalkboards. Apparently no one uses chalkboards anymore.
No,
Okay. But that also has to be combined with the lighting, the
yes,
ceiling,
yes.
and our vinyl, and I have to use the term properly, when it comes to the flooring in the school, it is technical term is VIT,
VCT.
VCT.
Mhm.
No, it's VIT. Vinyl,
Sure.
vinyl, asbestos tile.
VAT is vinyl asbestos
VAT,
tile.
so it's
Yeah.
VAT. Anyway, the point we're trying to make is there are major tripping hazards throughout the classrooms. The treads on the stairs throughout the place are gone, the things that prevent people from slipping. And the idea that these classrooms are charming
They
is
are.
over.
They are
And
charming.
now we need to start turning our
not practical.
attention. Yeah, they're not practical anymore. And the other thing that I wanted to point into is the aging soffits and gutters of the school and the gables, the siding, attic ventilation, and the front door of the school. We can't
Yes.
currently, and the way
Yes.
that I'm going to present those to people is, remember every time you see Franklin Township throughout history, they have a picture on the main steps of the school,
Mhm,
and then all of a sudden they just stop.
mhm.
The reason they stop is because kids can't go on those steps because they're crumbling. The handrails that are on there are falling off, and if someone leans on them, they're going to snap in half because they're rusted at the connection points. And the doors don't open unless you get a running start or have, what's her name?
Judy can get,
Judy,
Judy can
unless
get
Judy
through there.
comes in
She has to
and
put her
donkey
whole
kicks it
weight into
backwards.
it,
Yeah. Those cannot be part of the plan of the operations of the school because they're dangerous, they're falling apart, and the school needs investment.
And that is an emergency exit. So we
Yes.
have a real problem with the fact that we
Mhm.
need to throw, all of Judy into the door to get it open in
Mhm.
order
Yeah.
to get out in the emergency.
And that the stairs are crumbling, so.
Exactly.
The punchline at the end of all of this conversation is that we'll be looking at somewhere between 16 to 20 million dollars. Even if we remove all of our wants, we will still be staring down the barrel of a
Yeah.
16 to 20 million dollar bill in order to bring this school up to how everyone on the board and the administration and the staff believes it should look and run.
Mhm.
Sorry. Any other conversations from the board? We're trying to put that out to the community. Vote it down and this stuff will just continue to fall apart. I don't know how else to say it. The operating budget for the school is not equipped to address the large needs of the school off of its reserves. It'll never happen. Actually, to be honest with you, I don't think it's mathematically possible for us to even address the air conditioners and the heating systems with our reserves, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay. And
The
just to
estimates
show
we've
that-
gotten,
I'm sorry, go ahead. Mike.
not with the estimates we've gotten.
And
no.
if I may, we know, Jen, do you have any opinions to share on the
I have
LRP?
a lot of
Please
opinions
do.
to share.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
about
ask
the
you as well.
LR, no,
No, not on the LRP.
no,
But is it accurate in your opinion of the things that need to
Yes.
be done?
yes. The
Okay.
school is in serious disrepair. And there hasn't been any time, money, or energy spent in updating this facility in I don't know how long, since they built it.
Probably over 25 years since the
And
extension.
it's time that, it's, the classrooms need to be updated. Just the basics, really, like heat and air we don't have.
Mr. McGarry, not to put you on in the spotlight. You're new and you have experience. You've been a teacher. You're a BA. I would like to hear your opinion of seeing it since you've been here for 2 months and you're new to the operation. Does this seem accurate to you?
Yeah.
Tell me your thoughts. on it.
I'm happy with how that's come together and the work the architect has done. You know, and Mrs. Quino and I took a lot of time, even just meeting with him, to go through things carefully and talk about what should come off and what should be added. They had done a walkthrough and created a detailed report for us from what they had seen, and ultimately, this is you know, every 5 years the district is required to do a major amendment on their long-range facilities plan, and that's what this is. This is our once every 5 years update on the LRFP. And just, I think, has given us a good roadmap forward, you know, and gives us guidance of, you know, reminding us about what needs attention around the school.
Do you think it gives an accurate representation of what the school needs?
I think so. Yeah.
Matt, if I could.
Colin, please.
So you heard the first take on the number, $16 to $20 million. It's a significant, huge amount of money. We've also talked here about many of the components of this, bathrooms that haven't been updated for many years, a roof, air handlers that are 60 years old. We've managed to avoid this as a community for some time. We're taking a hit now because of the lack of investment.
True, Joe.
What we won't say is what I have been told was said about the fire bond 20 years ago, that this is a once in a lifetime bond and there will not be another one afterwards. If we bond for this and we proceed, there will be another bond after this at a later time, 10, 15 years down the road, because just as any of your houses need maintenance, then a building as large as this will continue to need investment. This is just part of the cycle of running a school, part of the cycle of running a building this large. And as a community, we haven't invested in it. We've got a price to pay now. That next bond wouldn't be this size, but there's always going to need to be some further maintenance done on a building this size.
The best way in the conversation, just from my research of it, the last big bond was for the expansion. It was in 2000, I'll say about 20, 25 years ago. Forgive me on the math. But that money was specifically for the expansion into the gymnasium and that end of the building. The issue that we're running into is that there was no investment on the 100-year-old portion of the building. The thing that everything's built around, the second floor, everything that faces the street, there have been no major improvements outside of entire failures. And there are also structural problems that we have to address in the school. And it's actually, that's not on the LRP. We have cracking at the
The pointing and
foundation.
stuff,
We have
yeah.
from top to bottom, there are major projects. And the only way of going at it is by going full hose at it. And I'll use it just the example, because of the bond that we're currently going after, the limitations on the bond and its usage has become a real problem for us, because it's almost on tracks. There's nowhere for us to move.
Right.
So every time you rip something out of it, open up a ceiling, there's something behind it. Every time you rip out an outlet, there's something behind it. And unless we go full bore at this with a larger plan and a larger funding strategy, you won't be able to, you'll only be creating more problems as you fix it without the ammo to go after the problems behind it. Not a great guy. I mean, it is what it is. It's best the way to say it, but I'm hopeful. And I think that the way that we're presenting the LRP and discussing it will have the community. Also, the one thing I have to continue to remind the community, when it comes to this bond or when we start discussing the funding for this, so much of it gets paid by the state. How much gets paid by the state? Up to
It ideally 40%. In reality, it ends up being a little less than that.
for sure.
You know, 30-some%. But yeah, having an approved referendum actually, you know, helps the school, instead of it being 100% from capital reserve, which was 100% taxpayer funds initially.
And just to add some color to that too, and forgive me for going, because I think is the most important thing we're going to end up doing here as a board. the way that the operation budget has been structured, everything has been fixed through reserves. We have to continue to pump into reserves.
Mhm.
So the bond for the facilities actually will support our ability to manage and kind of Spider-Man between different things. We don't have to put in 500, 600,000 into capital reserves. That money can get carried over to next year's
Mhm.
budget or be used in different ways. But the way that we're currently doing now is all of our money that remains goes into the capital reserves and then gets immediately spent because the need is so much higher than the pool of money that's going after it.
Mhm.
Any other questions, conversations on that? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. Fair enough.
I got a question.
Allison, please.
You said foundation cracks are not on the August.
No, I have it on my notes. There's two items that I have on my personal notes of the foundational cracking and this place, and I'm just speaking because of my career in electrical distribution. There needs to be major electrical upgrades that are not on this. Boxes that they currently use do not manufacture new fuses. Boxes that are currently in the building do not manufacture those types of breakers anymore. So at a certain point, we're kind of backing ourselves into a problem. And if you've attended, anytime there's a major event here, the power turns off. And that's because, what's that? Every time. And that's a failure at the breaker boxes, not an opinion. That's just my opinion from observing. Those overheating, the smoking, the flipping of those boxes, the best I would give is there's some boxes in here that are older than I am. And those are going to be included in there. Not as old as Jeff is. He likes
No.
to remind him that he's a few days younger than me, it would seem. But those, I have them on the notes to share.
But yes,
with you.
we even noticed that with the construction that we have now with the electrical. There was,
Are we allowed to talk? You want to talk about that?
no, because I don't know the
I can talk
verbiage
about it.
enough about the.
There are lines ran within there was no long-term plan when it came to the repairs around here. There was no unity to it. So there are air handlers that are up in the ceiling that have 220 power running to them and they need 208 power ran to them, or vice versa. Or bridges, I call them bridges to nowhere, wires that run to nowhere. When it came to the improvements on the bathroom and the kindergarten classrooms, they had to rip out all of the electric, but that electric is built into the floor, the sub base, and the concrete. So then they have to create new avenues and new ways for power to come into the classrooms. That's the warning I'm giving about handling everything a la carte. And there needs to be a larger plan to completely empty these classes out, pull everything out, and then you work with a new canvas is the best way of describing it. And we'll go for broke unless the board feels that we go a different direction. We'll get finished, have the administration finish what they believe with the contractor, what they put forward. And then we are going for broke in 2028. Would be 2028. We can't do it this November.
We cannot do it this November, no.
As
much as we would love to, we cannot.
Highly expect that we will go message and go after a large bond based off of this plan, not this wish list.
But you're thinking referendum on ballot in 27 or referendum on ballot in 28?
It would be referendum on ballot in 27.
27.
Where's 2026 this year?
27,
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for confirming.
That gives us until when?
But that gives us
60
some time to
days, so
message it.
August, July, till August-ish?
What's that?
Would we have until August then next year to get that referendum approved and onto the clerk's desk?
Yeah, and that was,
Yeah, there's a time frame
Yeah,
in which we
I
have
believe
to follow.
August is
Days
the
before.
deadline. It's
Anthony
a
has
day
it
in
all
August.
planned
Yeah.
and
out.
I'll forward it to the board. The architect we're working with
Bless you.
now, John.
Anthony, G. Vaccaro.
Anthony G. Vaccaro, he gave a layout and a plan as to how we need to go about this to get this on ballot and the time it would take.
Okay.
There's a lot of bureaucracy and stuff of sending it to the state prior.
Yes.
But just so everyone knows, that would be the plan. Any other thoughts on this, additions to it? I'm sorry to drag it out. But again, I continue to tell you, I think this is the most important. When it comes to the Board of Education, this is all we can do to help the place outside of restructuring the administration, changing the policy book.
You did both.
We did everything that we possibly could. This would be the last thing that we're capable within our authority. You look like you have a question.
I
You got
have a
something.
million
I know, I
questions.
can see.
But I don't know how much we want to go into it now, but what you just said about the electricity in the school, I just kept thinking 100%, if it's been open since the 1800s, you probably see like panels being like from the 40s or the 50s and like so on. And my question to you guys, the administration and construction, when you're doing the new construction on those classrooms, are you taking out all those cords and old technologies and then redoing it?
Is it all right if I answer that?
Please.
Like, I don't know if that's a
No,
question now
because
or,
it's- Hold on, my
yeah.
friend, I'll definitely get you a percent. No.
Yeah.
Because the scope of the projects are so limited. So when we talk about the new pre-K classroom, the bathrooms being put in the pre-K classroom, everything that was ripped out, the floor that was ripped out to make that happen, the ceilings, the lights, those are all going back in. Because there was not a longer term plan or budgeted set. So we're using, even though we invested all this money into the pre-K classrooms, they're still gonna look like they're from 1950, other than the new bathroom that's inside of it. The flooring has not been done, the walls are not being done, the chalkboards are going back
Lights.
in. The lights that are fluorescent are going back in. The hang ceilings, well, we're trying. We're doing what we can.
Insulation.
But because we're reusing the installation that were in the ceilings because the scope of the bond was specific to just the bathrooms in the room and not the rebuilding of the overall, I know,
Classroom.
and not the rebuilding of the overall classrooms. There is no way and I'll give credit to the administration. They've been doing everything they can to get the most out of the scope of those projects, but you are legally bound to the word on the referendum and the messaging. There wasn't enough due diligence and planning for an overall attack of those classrooms. So once this is all done, we are still going to be investing money and attempting to make the pre-K classrooms our showpiece. I keep saying that that's where the new customers come from in the pre-K and kindergarten. A lot of our money has to go into that to make those rooms shine.
We'll have one nice pre-K classroom that is completely done.
That is
The floors,
correct.
the lights, the bathroom, everything in that classroom has been redone because a wall needed to be moved. So the flooring had to come up. And the electricians were kind enough and gracious enough to help us with some lighting.
And we'll definitely have to send a fruit
That they
basket to
gifted us,
the
that they
electricians who
gifted
work
us.
this project, because they've been going above and beyond on a lot
Yes.
of things. But they can't even,
We're buying donuts though
yeah,
for them.
we're
So,
buying
I mean,
the donuts.
we're getting lights for donuts.
So the lesson to be learned as we go forward for the board is to be very specific of when we ask the community what we need more money, very specific of what we want.
Yes, but my recommendation would be to go big.
But I
You have
understand,
to,
but
yeah.
like, because previous didn't get very specific of what we wanted new bathrooms, but like, yeah, the classrooms needed to be updated.
Our
So
hands are tied because all it will ask
I
for
understood,
was the
but going
bathrooms, right?
forward, as we learn lessons and moving forward, right?
Mhm.
We have to learn lesson, okay, let's be more specific of what we need to go into. We're not going for just the bathrooms, like the classroom needs to be updated as well as the bathroom.
Correct. And if we went after a big bond that's based off of a listed LRP and the wording, and Mike might be able to speak to this better. When we put the wording out to the community of what we're doing, it's so comprehensive and broad of what we're attempting to do that we can take $10 from this project and put it over here. You could take $15 from this project. Oh, that project was cheaper. Great, complete it. Let's move that money to fix this. The problem with our current bond usage, and forgive me, is they are so limited in their scope and the amount of money that's backed on them. So if something bad would happen with the parking lot outside of the $25,000 allowance, essentially, right? Was that for the parking lot?
There was, yeah.
We would have had to figure out a way to fund that. And that's primarily the reason why we put the generator on hold.
Okay.
So we had money sitting in escrow to attack those things. but those aren't big enough. And the thing that I use, if it's all right for you guys, for me to discuss it, is when I went and did the tour with the administration and the construction people, I said, hey, what up with the floor? This looks like somebody's basement. They can't. It's not that they don't want to. They can't spend the money because of the way the law is or the way the rules are laid. I go in there and go, hey guys, it would take an afternoon to rip out all these fluorescent lights and put in LEDs. Can't do that. It wasn't part of the structured plan. So we live and die by the plan that was already set. Our hope now is to get everything we possibly can done, get all those projects concluded, and then move on to the next bond. And that gives, I'll primarily say for Mike, that gives Mike latitude to make decisions. Technically, he can't move any of these in any other directions, which is unfortunate because we have his expertise, but he's handcuffed in the way that he's allowed to spend the funds. Any other questions on that? Jeff, please.
Is there, I don't know whether this is possible or not, but is there any ability to, instead of removing those once, like make them like an alternate? Is that a thing with bonds?
We can leave them on there, but it has to do with messaging what the plan
Like,
is.
can you give like, I mean, could you put two options? Like, this is the base and we would like, we would also like this. if we
Like
feel
tier
you're
one,
Yeah,
doing
we
it.
can have a separate
So I will
question for that,
say
yeah.
like this, if you don't mind.
Please.
This is just a list of identified projects. It does not mean that when the district goes out for referendum, that everything on there is on it. It doesn't mean that all of those things have to be done by the end of 5 years. It's just, the reason why the district has to do this every 5 years is just identifying areas of concern or things that they would like to do. Maybe there are some needs, maybe there are some wants, it doesn't mean that the projects have to be done or that they have to be part of a referendum question.
The only reason we're having this, sorry, Jen, did you have-
I just wanted to, I don't know if that was clear, but you can go out on a question and say, here's what we want to do. We also want to do this in question number 2. These are the things that we would like to have. We can't have this unless this passes. So if you all are in favor of A, great. How about B? But we can't just have B without A. So you can ask 2 questions.
Yeah,
And
that's
to
what-
your point, the one items in the past, just from my observations on the LRP, were used to undermine the entire plan prior. If that makes any sense. When the board prior went for the bond, people were referencing the flagpole and saying how these, so whether they stay on the list or not, or whether you guys want to pull them, that's besides the point. But when we publish this, which I think we do, people need to know we don't have to set priorities on them, but again, it becomes more of an operational opinion way. It's called the LRP plan.
Right.
And it gets caught up into the bureaucracy end of things of having to report it and make sure. But to me, if it's a plan, it's the plan. I don't think an athletic house, it's sky high thinking. We will never have a bathroom in the fields on the other side because we don't have kids signing up for baseball or sports out there. So maybe keep what you guys want to keep. The thing that I would keep pressing is I also don't like it when it has priorities on there where it's low, high, because I think that undermines the middle end of things. But the thing that I'm saying is I would just assume rip all these things out and hand out the LRP, or we just agree amongst all of us that we keep this as a bureaucratic tool to make sure that we're checking the boxes. And then we go out with our own plan of what we're actually going to attempt to think. But I think this is the most conversation this building facility has had, which I think is a good thing already. Anyone else have any thoughts, comments? Colleen, you look like you're chomping at the bit. You're sick, aren't you?
Yeah,
I don't feel great. Anything, any other questions on that? I'll turn these over. If you have any notes or thoughts that you want to send it to the administration. And Mike and Jen will do what they do best, make it make sense and come up with a plan on it. And then tell your neighbors, tell your friends, we need some money to fix this place up or it's gonna start falling apart around us. Anyone? Great, let's move right along. We are moving on to the public interview of candidates for the board vacancy. And similar to last, first, let's welcome Matthew Helper and Michael Vasisco. Not bad. The way I brutalized other people's names, that was all right. I'm going to read an email from the lawyer, just so everyone knows exactly how this is going to go down, and similar to when we did this earlier in the year. The board had convened in closed session to review some sample questions that were provided by the attorney. We are now back in public session. We will draw a name from a hat to determine the interview order. If someone wants to start working on the hat and the names as we talk about it. The candidate who is not being interviewed first should be escorted to a separate room and asked not to use their phone. After the first interview concludes, that candidate may remain in the room while a second candidate is interviewed. Once both interviews are done, the board should reconvene in closed session to discuss the candidate's qualifications. No formal decision will be reached at that stage. Under a recent court, before calling your nominations okay, that's the, I'll read the rest once we come out of executive. So we'll do the interview, we'll pull names out, and then we'll go into executive and we'll explain the rest. Seem fair? Tell your friends about the LRP. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, not your friends.
You write names down?
We're on it.
I could talk about the LRP all week.
I know you can.
I could go on. I do, but I planned for me to go long and mumble about this because no one has.
But you want everyone to see the parking lot?
Go see the parking lot. It looks better at night. 17-year-old me wants to do donuts in that parking lot so bad.
That's why I brought my motorcycle.
Teenage me just wants to ruin anything that's nice.
You want to call it a pick or what?
Oh, let's have the chief pick.
Okay, so, okay, but I put first and second on it. I thought we were going to offer to them,
Even
but,
better.
Oh, okay.
so,
All right.
second.
There you go.
Hit the bricks. Allison, your question 30.
I don't-
I'll give it to you.
Sure, where, do we have a copy of the question?
He has a.
Oh,
he has a
perfect.
Share with you, right? We agreed on 30.
Thank you. Perfect.
I want
It
to
was
clarify,
Sylvia's
there are
gonna
not
start us.
30 questions.
Yeah, I'm gonna start and we'll just go that.
We
We'll
are
be
asking the
asking.
same-
Okay.
Mike, please, Mike. No, it's totally fine. Michael, if you can introduce yourself, say a little bit, and we'll ask you some predetermined questions that our legal representative recommended.
Hi, I'm Michael Cisco. Been a resident of Franklin Township now for 15 years. I'm married, got 3 stepkids and a grandson. I'm a supervisor for EMD Electronics. I'm in charge of the maintenance department for the fab there. I keep that place running.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Sylvia, you're up to bat.
Hi, Mike. Thanks for stepping up. What do you see as the major issue facing the school district or public education?
Money. Getting money and, keeping, like you guys were talking about earlier, this building, I'm surprised that it hasn't been maintained in so long, especially the age of the building. You guys have got a big thing coming up with the electrical, the HVAC, the structure. It's like, I was over there thinking, it's like, it might just be easier to tear it all down and start over.
It's like you've been reading my diary.
I mean, trying to integrate all these new systems in an old building, that's going to be one massive challenge.
Thank you.
Oftentimes, as you'll see, and if you've been paying attention, we don't always agree with each other, and we have some no votes where people are not comfortable voting for a particular line item or a particular section of the agenda. Could you support a board decision that you did not vote in favor of, and why or why not?
yeah, I would support it as long as the consensus is that the rest of the board is in favor of it. That's what we're all here to, is to work together. Because the kids are the priority, giving them the best education possible that we can.
I had a question, but I don't remember what number I assigned myself to.
19 or 20, or 19 or 2.
What number did
Who
you?
has 19?
I have 19.
You're
So then
19?
you're
You're
2.
probably 20.
No, you're 2. Are you 2 yet?
Is there a particular issue that motivates you to serve on the Board of Education?
Mainly from what I've been seeing about what's happened in the past with things being neglected. So yeah, I'd like to step forward and use my expertise in the maintenance department, and then also with the, as far as trades and stuff, to help you guys, make the right decisions. Also, I've got a grandson. So yeah, my thought process has started changing a lot, and I have another grandson on the way. So
Congratulations.
thank you. They're probably not going to go here, but they're probably going to go to Highbridge where they live. But yeah.
Yeah. So Mike, Colin's question was about supporting decisions that you didn't necessarily agree with, but talk about how you address differences of opinion between yourself and other members of the board, or how you deal with a difference of opinion with the administration. How do you approach that type of situation?
I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. As far as, differences, we still have to come together to come up with a consensus, so to work together. Like I said, the kids are the best thing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Can you please describe your volunteer activities, current and past?
Well, I do a lot of volunteer activities, but not through organization stuff. Like, I'm always picking up litter. Any place I go, I'm picking up litter because it's not good. Yeah, that's, helping out my family, friends with anything they need, especially house projects or just handyman stuff. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks for being here. What are your thoughts on the current and the proposed budget for the school district?
Looks like you guys have some shortfalls. Yeah, I would like to see it increase, but also as a taxpayer living in the district, yeah, I don't want my taxes going up. But if it's justified, I'll vote for it.
I think that's all the preset questions. The one question I wanted to ask, are you the same Michael who's are you on ballot for the North Hunterdon Sports? So you're volunteering for that as well.
Yes.
Better man than I am. Great. That's all the questions I have. I appreciate you. You can feel free to sit, and if someone could let Matthew know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Give them all my seat. Keep everyone. When do I get voted off the island?
You just came up with a new reality TV show.
What's that?
Reality TV show. Bored of it. Who gets voted off?
I've worked on enough reality TV shows to know that I would never sign up to be a character on one.
That's true.
Then again, no, we never. You can't. Public school can't sign up to be in a reality show.
I don't know.
We would.
Do you remember Laguna Beach?
What's that?
Remember Laguna Beach?
I do not remember Laguna.
Come
Beach.
on.
Is that something I don't know? Is that a thing?
They set a table up at the school, at the high school in Laguna Beach, and had kids all take waivers home to their parents. They filmed the kids at school, at home, all over the place.
Oh yeah, do that.
That was
here. I'd
before the hills,
sue you out.
before-
Oh my goodness. Matthew, I appreciate you, man, coming up and volunteering.
Thanks for having me.
We have some preset interview questions that the attorney presented us, and
Sure.
tell us your thoughts. Mrs.
Do you want him to introduce himself first?
Oh, yeah, we visited first. Tell us about yourself, where you're
Yeah.
from, and
Yeah, happy to.
a little bit to get started.
Yeah, first off, apologies for being late. Of course, traveling back from New York today took over 2 hours. The only time you ever have something going on. So I grew up in Edison, Middlesex County, born and raised in Jersey. Edison public schools. Ended up doing my bachelor's in Pennsylvania, got my master's. Last 16 or so years I spent in talent acquisition and operations across tech companies, mostly in New York. Currently, I am consulting. I have a small business. I'm consulting for 50+ person companies, helping them with their talent acquisition, HR needs, helping them build first principles around hiring, operations, compliance, all that good stuff. I have a family, 3 kids. My daughter just started pre-K 3 last year and is thriving. We love the program. So we have 2 more that will be in the system very soon, hopefully also in pre-K 3. And so, I want to become a bigger part, a more invested part of the community. So I saw the ad and of course wanted to take an opportunity to potentially step in and help where I can.
Solid. So good.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt, for being here today.
Yeah.
My question for you is, what do you see as the major issue facing the school district and public education?
How much time do we have? Look, I think every township, every municipality deals with different issues. I'm just starting to learn. We've only been in Hunterdon County. We've only been in this area for 6 years now. Again, our daughter just started last year. So as I learn the issues and we learn, the environment and what is plaguing Franklin Township, Hunterdon County, I become more interested. I'm a problem solver. I try and think of solutions. I think ultimately, from an outsider's perspective, not having kids in the school system just yet, in the broader school system, we hear of and see, bullying, keeping up with technology, obviously dilapidated buildings, right? We want to make sure that any way that I can help, we want to make sure that we're offering, and I say we, my wife and I, participating in the community as much as possible so that we can help mitigate any of these problems or problem solve along, the volunteers here in any way possible.
Great. Thank you. On to me. So we all at this table have at some point or another potentially had a vote that came to our voice vote or a roll call vote that we were just not comfortable voting yes on. So the question to you is, faced with that situation, would you be able to support a board decision that you were not initially in favor of? And if so, why or why not?
Yeah. Look, I think in any situation in business and in volunteer work or elsewhere, you're not always going to have consensus across the room, right? So I have strong opinions. I have, I come with experience and I try and use that experience to inform my decisions. And if there's something I don't agree with, I always try to be as objective as possible, right? To remove myself from my opinions and be objective as possible, to understand where everyone else is coming from and take the situation and almost remove myself and my own biases, to then make a practical decision and hear out all of my other peers as well to understand where their head is at and what their thoughts are to fully understand the problem. And again, I would in some cases, if depending on the matter, absolutely agree with my peers if it comes to it, and I'm the odd man out.
Thank you.
I'll make mine easy. Is there a particular issue that motivates you to serve on the Board of Education?
Particular issue? No. Again, I think it's just my overall interest in public service. Wanting to be a deeper rooted part of the community. We're here for the long haul. We're not moving. I hate moving, so I don't want to move. So ultimately we, having 3 kids that will be in the school system, it's just a vested interest in our kids' education and bettering our school system.
Thank you. So Colleen's question touched on this, but when there is a difference of opinion, either within the board or between the board and the administration, how do you address that from a interaction perspective?
From an interaction perspective?
Yes. How do you interact in those situations to project your opinion, but also listen to the others?
Yeah, of course. Of course, being respectful, hearing each one of my peers, right, and their opinions. There are exercises that we do in the corporate world to make sure that we're being objective and whether it be whiteboarding it or doing a 9-box exercise or drawing up a table to understand everyone's opinions, a SWOT analysis, whatever it may look like, right, that we can apply to a decision to make it, to make everyone's opinion count and heard. I think strong opinions or strong voices sometimes lead the room. So I'm always conscious of first sitting back, listening, hearing everyone's thoughts, voicing my opinion, not speaking over others, and making sure that we're all heard as equals.
Thank you.
Can you please describe your volunteer activities, current and past?
Yeah, sure. In I think starting with past, in college and even through my adolescence, I was Boy Scout. So community work was a pillar of my upbringing. I saw it through my parents. My mom was the head of the PTA, and my father was on the school board. So it's always sort of been at the core of my upbringing, and so I saw that, and I had an interest in it as well. So through the Boy Scouts, tons of volunteer opportunities. Spent weekends rebuilding parks and all kinds of good stuff. And then even through college, I was in a fraternity. We led numerous volunteer hours and volunteer programs. Over the last 10 or so years, I've spent my time I worked in New York for most of my career. And so I spent a lot of time, we had a program, a PAL program with a local school. And so, underprivileged schools in the area in which my office was, we had a PAL program in which you're sort of a mentor to a student. And so I've done that 4 times over with high school students. So just teaching them, sort of the ropes, how to sort of become an adult through high school and stay out of trouble, applying to college, all of those good things. So that has been a really impactful and meaningful program for me over the last 7 or so years.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the current and the proposed budget for the school district?
So, look, sitting through the last hour or so, I think there are absolutely things as I walked around the school just 10 minutes ago. There are a lot of things that need to be addressed from a safety standpoint. We're talking about table stakes. Our kids just being in a safe environment and the roof not falling in on their heads. So I think from a budget standpoint, I like what Matt is saying about going for it all, right? We absolutely have to invest in the infrastructure here because it's not going anywhere. We're not expanding sideways. We're not expanding upwards. We need to do something about it. And, ultimately if we don't do something about it, that something awful could potentially happen, right? Which we all want to avoid. And just creating an amazing environment for our kids to learn in, right? So I think the budget, and overall, seeing and reading about the budget and the sort of delta, these are things that need to happen, right? And I think there's a way, if we're going to the community and we're expressing to the community, the deficit and what we're looking to do over the next 2 years or so, we have to be clear. We have to be, we're showing picture. I think a lot of us maybe haven't seen pictures of the building. We haven't seen pictures of what is broken. So I think it'd be really impactful to show pictures on our website of what is broken, where are the issues, and then we show the plan, we show the renderings of what it could look like. And, we're creating a plan, we're creating visuals. I'm a visual person, right? We're creating visuals so that people can see this is where your dollars are going. This is where, this is where the deficits are. And this is where the issues are within the building, right? It's just, it's being as clear as possible to the public.
Thank you.
Sure.
I appreciate you. That concludes it.
Great.
Yeah, we'll see.
Thank
The one thing, we have other executives. The one thing, I'm sorry, young man, you're a scout, clearly a scout, right? I can feel it. I'm an Eagle Scout, Jeff's an Eagle Scout. So you raised your hand. Do you have something you wanted to say? I wanted to. It was a question. Okay, I hate to put you on the spot, but I wanted to make sure that you were heard. And what badge are you going for? What are you going for, a merit badge? Or you just enjoy the show that we put on?
All I was communicated so I could get Eagle Scout.
Congrats. Thanks. Yeah, right, you're an Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
I'm an Eagle, I'm a better Eagle Scout, but I'm an Eagle
How
Scout.
many palms did you get?
Well, I was in the Brotherhood of the Order of the Arrow.
What level?
Did you make that?
I did. We're not allowed to talk about that, though.
Oh, yeah. Rules broken. That's it. I have to do an executive. Thank you for taking the time. I have to, can I get a motion to approve the executive session resolution for Franklin Township Board of Education adjourning the closed session? Discuss matters relating to board vacancy interviews, wherein the length of time for the executive session is expected to be approximate 30 minutes, let's say 20. Yeah, I do have reservations. After which the meeting shall reconvene and proceed with business wherein action may be taken. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Allison on the one,
I'll second.
Sylvia on the two. To approve, we're going into executive at 7:28. We're going to stay here. We'll-
Really?
Oh, excuse me, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? public session.
Motion was made by
Sylvia, can I get a second?
Second,
Colin on the second, all in favor?
I,
Aye, all opposed. Okay, we're back. So we will now, hold on. There's lawyer directions around here somewhere. We'll bring it back and we will call for nominations. That's the end of the sentence.
Okay, I can start. I'd like to nominate Matt Halper. One of the discussions that we had and one of the points that I took down was, I do think it's really beneficial for us, then I was not alone in that statement, that we consider the future of the school and where this board is going to go, as those of us who have kids all in the school now are watching them grow up in age and eventually go to high school. And so there's this taking advantage of an opportunity to bring in somebody who has younger children and has years ahead of them potentially. If the board membership ends up being something that strikes your interest.
That's one. We don't need seconds. Is there any other nominations?
yes, I'd like to nominate Michael Francisco. Michael is already volunteered to step forward to the North Hunterdon board in the upcoming cycle and has been quite a regular here over the last few months. So I appreciate the contribution. His background would be exceedingly beneficial to our school, albeit for the very brief period that he would be serving. And it'd be great to have someone who has met us, and knows our challenges intimately, serving on the North Hunterdon board.
Okay, we'll take that. We don't need a second. The one thing I did want to say, and this is a formal decision under reason, before calling for nominations, which I just did, we will need to briefly summarize for the public the substance of what was discussed in closed session. So I'm going to do that in verse, without getting into unnecessary detail. It was pretty simple. You guys are both pretty decent human beings, and we'd be very lucky to have either of you. The conversation went, and is almost exclusively was, does it benefit us more to have a shorthand in a relationship with a member going to North, or does it benefit us more to have someone who's new to the community and would be having the youngest kids and focused on the future? So it was a focus on regionalization and referendum, or a focus on future and bond usage, essentially. That was the discussion without getting into it. We have two nominations. We'll go.
Do we have a motion to close nominations?
Do we have a motion to close nomination?
So moved.
Jeff, second. Colleen, do we need to vote
All in
on that?
favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
None.
Okay, so similar to the votes on president and vice president during a reorg, just a reminder to all the board members that you should be only voting for one candidate. Once a majority is reached, a majority of the current sitting board, that person will be elected to the board. First vote would be for Mr. Halpert, who was nominated first. This is the vote on Mr. Halpert. Mrs. Bankin,
Yes.
Mr. Kastner,
No.
Mr. Cecil,
No.
Mrs. Cummins,
Yes.
Mrs. Naughton,
Yes.
Mr. Naughton.
Yes.
The results are 4 yes, 2 no. Having reached a majority, Mr. Halpert is awarded the vacant board seat.
And with that being said, just to Michael, we'd be lucky to have you. And I think the conversation came down to, you are about to donate a significant amount of time to North Hunterdon, and you already have a ticket to the show. And we need to make sure that we have people for not just, and Matt, a good challenge to you is, I know this is for 4 months, but the conversation expect a lot more out of you and longer time. I'm just putting it out there for everyone, because I am 75 years old and I'll be leaving this board soon enough. And thank you for anyone. We really appreciate you. That will Concluded noteworthy date. That's it, right? We don't have anything else to discuss.
Yep.
In that.
Correct.
Okay, next noteworthy dates. Next board meeting is scheduled for September 16th, 2026 at 5 p.m. Okay, you know what? Let's do it as a team. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Ms. Bankins on the one. Can I get a second? Just for fun.
Second.
I like mixing it up. Sylvia on the twos. It's 8 p.m. All in favor? Any opposed? Great. Thanks, guys. Go Lions. I appreciate all the work. What a meeting.